Hi, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Adler sewing machine. And this is the final test, which we're going to video for you, and we'll go over how to work the various controls and be able to see the machine in operation. And we're going to start by winding a bobbin. Your bobbin case you'll find under there. And there's a little lever here that you'll pull out to pull it off of the spindle down there. And as long as you're holding that little lever, your bobbin is not going to drop out of the case. But once you let go of that little lever, then your bobbin drops out. And we're going to pull off this old thread and start with a fresh bobbin. Let's see. Put your spool on the spool pin. Go through the thread guide on the front, and from there down to the little bobbin winder tension device there. And from there you're going to go up here to your bobbin winder. And before we put the bobbin on there, we're going to start the thread through it because it's easier to do before you put it on the winder. So put the thread through one of the little holes from the inside out. And then oopsie, okay. Then hold the tail and give it several wraps to hold the thread in place while the bobbin winds. And you're going to put it on with the thread going over the top that way. And I'm going to cut off that little extra tail there that we were holding. Put it on the spindle of the bobbin winder. Make sure that you're in the tension down here on the bottom. Press down so your rubber wheel makes contact with the hand wheel. Oops, it's not going to do that until there's a little keeper on the side of that spindle. So turn your rubber tire until the little keeper goes into the slot in the side of the bobbin. Then the bobbin winder will go up against the hand wheel, and this little finger will drop down into the bobbin. And this little finger, as the bobbin fills, it's going to get pushed further and further up until when it's full, it's going to click itself free. In the center of your hand wheel is a little chrome knob, and that is your clutch knob. Turn it towards you about a quarter turn until it reaches its stop. You'll feel it. And you're ready to wind a bobbin. I'm going to take up this little bit of slack here. Not for any good reason, just because I want to. And there's no reason to go fast. The faster you go, the more likely you are to tangle your thread. Okay, that should be plenty for our test. So lift the little finger to release your bobbin winder. And remember to tighten your clutch knob. Not too tight, just snug. Otherwise it's hard to get loose again. And your bobbin is going to go into the bobbin case with the thread coming off the top in this direction. That's important. It'll make a difference. And then the thread goes into this little slot on the side and up under the leaf spring until you feel it click into place. Then, holding that little lever on the side that I mentioned with the finger here pointing up, going to go onto the spindle of in the center of the hook, down below here. And the little finger is going to slide into the cutout that's made for it. To thread the machine, put the spool on the spool pin, and this time go into the thread guide on the back of the machine, directly down between the two convex discs of the tension assembly, all the way around until you can catch this L-shaped thread guide at the top here, and then go down behind the check spring and pick up the check spring. And when you have it, you'll see it move up and down when you pull on the thread. From there, you're going to go through your take-up lever from back to front. Something is tangled because this should pull easily. So I have something wrapped around twice or something else long. Let's see. Okay, yes. I was wrapped twice around that little L-shaped thread guide. From the take-up lever, you're going to want to go into the thread guide on the faceplate, and it just pulls in from the side onto the thread guide down on the needle clamp, and then with the presser foot down and the needle up, we're going to thread the needle from left to right, and I'm going to cut a nice clean end on it because those frayed ends will push your thread aside and you'll have a heck of a time trying to thread the needle. Okay, so you thread from the left end of the machine towards the center of the machine. Now, holding the needle thread loosely, we're going to turn the hand wheel one full turn towards you. And the needle is going to take the thread down. The hook will come around, pick up the thread from the needle, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up the lower thread. See that? Okay, the thread between the toes of the presser foot and towards the back, we're ready to sew. This is your presser foot adjuster that adjusts how much pressure there is on the fabric on your presser foot. It's spring loaded. You push down this little collar and it pops up and releases. So you have little to no pressure on your fabric. As you press down, you get more and more and more and more pressure. So we're going to push it down about halfway, and that's good for normal, regular fabrics. And your other adjustment is your tension. And it'll come to you set for normal, regular fabric and thread. If you have to sew something heavy, you may want to turn the nut down a little bit and give it a little bit more pressure. If it doesn't seem to be moving the fabric aggressively, you might need a little more pressure. If you're sewing something delicate and your fabric's puckering up, you might have too much pressure, and you might want to back that tension off just a little bit. But anyway, here we go. We're going to set our stitch length to about 15 stitches per inch. And hold the threads for the first couple of stitches. Here we go. Again, no reason to hurry, although you can if you want. Leaving the needle down, I'm going to raise the presser foot turn my fabric with the presser foot, so a couple of stitches, and then go back in the other direction. This time we're going to use a longer stitch length. We're going to go all the way down to, it's like 6 stitches per inch, and you'll see the fabric move a lot faster because the stitches are bigger. Going back up to about 20 stitches per inch. Reverse, forward, reverse, forward. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Your light switch is right here on the light. Pretty hard to miss. Oiling. You're going to want to oil your machine every if you're sewing all day every day, oil your machine every day. If you sew a couple hours a day, maybe oil every week or two. If you sew once in a blue moon and you bring your machine out and you haven't sewn on it in, say, 3 months, oil it before you start, because the oil does evaporate, and you want all your parts to be gliding on this thin film of oil. That way you don't have anything grinding up the parts. So I guess that's basically it. Feed drop, stitch length lock, bobbin winder, clutch knob, presser foot adjuster, tension adjuster. And if you look online, you can find all sorts of different attachments and sewing feet for it. You want low shank, which are the most common in the world. And when you use them for the first time, each one that you put on, cycle your machine by hand first to make sure that the needle goes right down through the hole or slot in the foot, because you don't want your needle to hit that foot. That's about it. She's a beauty. I hope that you love her as much as we do. And if you're coming here to this video from somewhere else on the internet, we are Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. And this is what we do. We're sewing machine restorers. There's lots of machines available on eBay that are direct from the garage sale, and they're pretty sure that it works. But every machine, we take it apart, we scrub the parts in our alcohol bath, polish them before we put it back together, and we test and adjust as we go. And so every machine is sewing perfectly, and it's clean inside and out. And if you come by our website, which is stagecoachroadsewing.com, we're on Stagecoach Road out here in the Coast Range of Oregon. So we are stagecoachroadsewing.com. And on our web page, you can see hundreds and hundreds of beautiful machines that we've restored over the decades, and nearly all of them have gone out to homes all over the country. But at the top of the page, there are usually a few that are still for sale that you can take home to your sewing room. But the other machines, you can see views from all different sides, and a little bit of info about each machine. And it's pretty fun to come and browse our little museum there. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So stagecoachroadsewing.com, and we'll see you there.